everyone. Welcome back for those who is joining us for the second time around. And for those who's joining us today, welcome to our part 2 WBN I Empower workshop, which is called Developing Content Strategy for Digital Marketing. Now, a quick recap on our trainer today. She is the CEO and founder of ATech International, a digital marketing firm in Malaysia specializing in professional development and digital marketing. So please welcome back Angeline and Samuels. There we go.
Yes, thank you, Ina. Good morning, everyone. So I will actually start talking to you about what our program is about today. Um, so let's start off with the slides first. All right, so we're going to talk about brand storytelling and branded content, and then we're going to move on to content strategy today. So I hope you're all hyped up today and you have all the energy in the world because we've got so much to go through and it's going to be fun. So I'm just, without further taking more of your time, I'm actually going to start off with the the entire slides first. Now we'll move on to the program, the address of the program as well. So here's to what is brand story. So today's topic is going to be about all building up your brand, creating your brand story, the storytelling concept of content marketing, right? So your brand story is absolutely important in terms of creating content. More often than not, we tend to uh, think that brand story is the history of your brand, but it's actually not. So we're going to go further into that as well. So what is your brand story? It expresses the heart and soul of your brand and emotionally connects you with your customer. So that's entirely what brand story is about. Now, I want to, if you can have a look here, I've actually given you an example of Nike, right? So Nike, as you can see, one of the most successful manufacturers of sports gear. And Nike is successful because it doesn't just sell sports gear, right? It sells a persuasive, emotionally rich, and value-laden story. So it's all about hard work, sweat, perseverance, and doing your very best. So it's really it actually touches you and motivates you, and that's why they actually have this the whole community that actually follows them. Yeah, right? So we're going to actually continue with, we're going to dig deep into what brand story is all about. So here's what it is. Brand story, okay? Like I mentioned to you, many people, what we think about brand story is all about, the history of your company, what is your corporate story about, how you started your program, but it's actually not, yeah? What we need to do is actually create content that connects you with your customer deeply and personally, right? And it's very very powerful when you're able to do that. Okay, it speaks to it. There's no age to it. You have there's no whether it's old, whether they're young. You are able to connect to everyone depending on their different kind of social economy, different kind of demographics. So it's all about understanding your brand story. Now, I will actually give you a lot of examples on how to create your brand story here, right? So you can actually have a look at Harley Davidson. First, you have to identify the brand story and then translate it into a brand promise and personality. So it takes 3 steps to it: story, promise, and personality. So I think everyone knows Harley Davidson, right? So Harley Davidson, when it comes to Harley Davidson, you think fierce, individuality, different, rebellion, innovative, fearless in the face of danger, brave, free-spirited, seeking escape, wild, and adventurous. So that is the personality it created, which currently, they've been around for more than 100 years, and they have a brand loyalty of over 100 years. So this is how you actually have to define your character and come up with stories relating to people um, in terms of your brand story. Okay. Why create brand story is so that you can create content that actually make people understand you, care about you, they have empathy for your brand, they love your brand, they are feeling part of a community in your with your brand, right? Now, in terms of how to execute, these are the examples of how you can actually execute. Okay, you can execute it in terms of people and culture, service experience, product and packaging, facilities and real estate, corporate social responsibility and sustainability, business partnership and alliances, marketing, communications, right? So in terms of people and culture, right, what you can talk about the employee hiring, training, retention, involvement, communication practices. In terms of service experience, you can talk about the design and the delivery of all the primary and auxiliary services you offer. Product packaging, what you can do is tangible offering to your market, right? To your market that fulfills customers' needs and wants, right? So these are the main topics that you can actually start thinking of. How do you create your brand story from this? You can either pick up from people and culture, service and experience. What would you experience? What are the services that you're providing that's different, that's unique? The product and packaging, perhaps that the production, your how your product is delivered is completely different. The packaging, right? Facilities and real estate, in the operational setting of it, the physical structure of it, the corporate social responsibility, the initiative you take, you use to take responsibility for the short and long-term impact of your activities. In terms of your customers, in terms of your employees, communities, and environment, right? You also can talk about business partnership and alliances if you're in partnership with other companies, right? So you can actually talk about that in your brand story and marketing and communications, whether it's traditional, digital, and social narratives, right? Next up, okay, I'm going to give you a few tips on the art of storytelling. So this is where it gets really interesting. So what you do first is actually uncover your story. What does our company have to say on social media, in a case study, in a newsletter, in your videos that you're going to create? Okay, then why would people care about it? How can you make them care about it? How can you actually make them love the product and services that you have to offer? Okay. Now, first, everyone already have a story, right? It's a day-to-day things that we take granted for. So you want to think what is a day-to-day thing that you actually do, and which provides great content. So from your customer stories events that you're attending, from customer stories, what your customers feeling like, the testimonial, the experience that they feel. Maybe you're selling them a car, and how do you do that? You actually the delivery, how much effort you put to surprising them, making them excited about actually getting their first car, perhaps. And then what else you can do? The events you're attending, the exciting projects you're working on, new product or services you're introducing. Perhaps you're coming up with a brand new product, and you can introduce it in a trailer form. So 10 days before your launch, you're actually giving them an idea of a little bit of a teaser of what's going to actually come up, how and interest them, intrigue them, make them curious about your product and services. And then 3 days before, one day before, have a countdown on Instagram, on Facebook, make them be curious, make sure that they actually feel like they're excited for something that's going to happen with your brand. So they feel part of your brand, they feel part of the community of your brand. And what you can do next is the stories. Find stories everywhere. You can even find it with your employees. They surely have something interesting to say about your company, with your customers, with your industry experts. So you need to create content that will people actually care to listen about. They would feel part of a team, right? So that is actually the uncovering part of the stories. Next, what you want to do, right, is actually get your company's value across. What is it that you value most? What is your brand and company about? Okay, so take a minute and think, what is your brand and company about? Do you pride yourself on excellent customer service? Are you innovative, quirky? Are you fun? Or you just really believe that your product or services are great? Define what makes your company great. Work out how you are least like the competition. What's different about you? What's unique about you? What makes you stand out? or perhaps there's nothing out there like your company, so you want to showcase that as well, right? I would actually like to know what are the industries that are, I mean, we have a lot of participants, we have 47 participants online. So perhaps you can actually type down in the chat there for me to have a look at what industry are you from, or perhaps what company or what agency that you have. If you can type down on the chat, that would actually be really helpful for me to give you examples of the content ideas. All right, so we have FISA, non-profit organization. Meranti, tour and travel agency. Peggy from education. You write books, amazing. What else do we have? What industry do we have out there? Hasna, private English medium primary and secondary school in Sri Lanka, amazing. Siti Nurdiana, all right. Fintech company, online mental health coaching business, children's storybooks, all right. Do continue writing about your what industry are you from, or what company, or perhaps even what product you sell. That way when I look at it, I can actually come up with good ideas for you as we go on through our entire session today, right? So in terms, what is the third thing? What is the third tip that I can give you here, right here, is make them colorful, all right? Have a beginning, have a middle, have an end. Think of it as a story. We have a beginning, we have a middle, we have an end. The beginning, set up your story. Who, what, why, where, when. Okay. In the middle, present a conflict or dilemma, followed by a solution that ends in a happy ever after. So at the end is, by getting your services, they will actually be able to have a better life. Kids would actually learn something out of the storybooks, perhaps. Stuff like that. And then what you want to do is make the listener share the pains your customer were experiencing. Illustrate how your products or services will make their lives less stressful, lovelier, more luxurious, perhaps. Get this across through your story. So it's all about the story. So create a story in terms of your brand. What is it that you're actually creating, right? What is it that you are, who you are? Why should they be part of your team? Why should they buy from you? How can they benefit out of you? So bear in mind, as I've mentioned in the previous session, if you're not there, it's all about making them fall in love with your brand, fall in love with your product, fall in love with your services. So it's all about the passion that you showcase, the interest that you can create within them, right? So have fun with that part, show your passion, show how much you love about it. Stop just showcasing your whole entire product and services. Be fun, be engaging, show your love for it. So showing your love for it is never about just showcasing your product and services, right? And the next tip is use the appropriate format, right? Remember, stories don't have words alone. They have pictures, videos, infographics. So create it in that particular format, make it entertaining. Perhaps you can start with an image, and then the next post can be about a video. It could be about it could be the infographics of it, and then perhaps you can actually make a live video and talk about it as well. Now the next thing is leave people wanting more. Now this is very important because you want them to come back again and again, right? So you need to give them a reason to come back for more. How do you give a reason for them to come back for more? Make sure that you have enough of a hook on them, right? Consider teasers. Teasers means watch this space, click here, download this, right? Like this page to find out more, subscribe to us to find out more. And when they remember you, they will come back for more. You need to intrigue them, all right? Every time you're actually creating a content, you want to intrigue them. You want to make them interested to come back for more. They want to listen more. They want to know what else you have, right? What else could you provide for them? Okay. Now, next thing is talking about brand storytelling. Okay, this is 6 questions that are going to help you out. Okay, I know most of you will be like, okay, how do I create brand storytelling? I know it's not as easy as you think it is, or I mean, it's quite tough as well. I mean, I had that difficulty too to come up with a brand story. Again, brand story is not about the history of the company. It's about the story behind the brand, you see. So what's the reason? So you want to keep into consideration these 6 questions. So if you have a paper and pen with you, write this down. What's the your reason for being around? What's your reason for having a company? What's your reason for selling the product? What's your reason for your service? So write the reason to what is the service about? What is the product about? Okay. The next thing you want to do, what is your history? Right? What's your history? That means how did you start? When did you start? Why did you start? How did you come about? I mean, what made you think about the product and services? In terms of if you're the company owner, then you actually need to think about why did they come about this particular product and service? Why do you think it's necessary for people? What is the passion? What interests you to actually start this particular product and service? Next, you want to do, who are your main characters? Who are your main characters? Who are your employees? What are they about? What is your mission? What's your vision? Who's the owner? Who's the CEO? Who's the managing director? How many departments do you have? Why do you have those departments? What's your corporate mission, right? What is it that you want to achieve? What do you want to send out there? How have you failed? If you have any failures, achievements, winnings, you want to write that down. How have you failed? How have you win? What are the awards you've gotten? What are the success you've had? And where are your gaps? If there's any missing gaps on your business, proposal, or any gaps in your company right now, so write down that gaps as well, right? So that is actually how you come up with the brand story. By answering the 6th question, you would actually understand your company more, and you'll understand your brand story behind it. And that way you'll be able to create content that will intrigue them. Okay. Next. Now, so we will definitely come back to this whole branding back again, but just to give you an idea of it, right? So here we've actually gone through uncover your stories. So what you need to do is look for the day-to-day events that you take for granted, right? Draw a real life example. So that's the whole idea of it. Get real life examples, take day-to-day events seriously. And secondly, what you want to do is actually draw your real life example. Work out how you are least like. How are you different? What are you different about? What's unique about you, right? The thing you want to do is make them colorful. By making them colorful, what do I mean? Have a beginning, have a middle, have an end, right? Create the story, provoke an emotional reaction. Now, the most successful emotional reaction in terms of brand storytelling, it's about either you're making them angry, or you're making them happy, sad, excited, intrigued, right? These are the emotions you want to capture. Or either you want them to actually dream of becoming something, showcasing them what is the next pathway for them. Like, what can they become after having a product and service? What can they get out of it? So keep that in mind, right? Appeal to their lifestyle, their problems, their interests, their needs. That's what you need to do in terms of making it colorful. Okay. And the 4th one, use appropriate format. Okay. Appropriate format is, what do I mean by that? Don't just use words, like I've mentioned before. Don't use words. Try using, making videos, have going live on social media. Use videos, infographics. Make it different, pictures, images, right? Then what you want to do, make your stories shareable. You're able to share them. They're able to download the video and share it to other people, right? And leave people wanting more, right? The next thing you want to do is leave them wanting more. Make sure there's a call to action. Consider teasers. Use teasers like countdowns and 10 days before what they can, what's the product that's going to be launched. Give them more content when they return. So make sure you have consistent content, like mentioned 2 days ago, right? Now, let's move on to content marketing. Okay, so before we move on to content marketing, just to give you an idea in terms of branding, you want to make sure that every video, every image, every live video, anything that you're posting, make sure that you have your logo right there. And also a point of contact. So what you need to have is your logo, your point of contact, which is your email address, website, contact number. So even if your video gets shared around on WhatsApp, on YouTube, anywhere, they're able to get back in touch with you. All right. So you want to have your contact details, which is your email, your website, your mobile number, your company's phone number, to be able to get in touch with you. All right. So these are the most important things to have in each and every one of your content that you're going to share on your social media. Right. So let's move on to content marketing. Okay. So content is all about, we've already gone through what is content about, what kind of content you can create on Monday. So content is all about ebooks, blogs, videos, white papers, case studies. There's a variation of different types of content that you can create on social media. So play with it, have fun with it, create content and make sure that you can actually hit them in one of the 6 points that I've mentioned to you on Monday, right? So next thing you want to understand is, why do you need a social media content strategy? So why do we need content strategy? A strategy helps you save time, all right? Then it will also help you to understand why your social media marketing is working or is not working, okay? So it helps you to save time, right? A strategy will help you save time, understand why is it working or not working, which social media is working for you, which is not working for you, where are you getting more sales from, and where you're not getting sales from, and why you're not getting sales from that particular platform. Okay, the third one, it supports your overall social media management efforts. Now, I've come across a lot of companies where they don't actually have a social media content strategy. What they do is actually just post content on a day-to-day basis. Now, when you post content on a day-to-day basis, most of the time you have no idea what to post. Because some days it's great and you have a lot of creative idea, and some days are not great and you're too busy and you perhaps don't have time, or you are lost for ideas. So what you want to do is create a content strategy, a schedule of content earlier, prior, a week, a month perhaps, or even 6 months, 3 months before your particular post is going to go up. All right. So by doing that, you save a lot of time because you don't have to think about it every day. It's already going up online every single day. And the second part of it is whether it's working or not. So by evaluating the analysis of it, the social media analytic part of it, you'll be able to know whether you have is the platform working for you? How much sale has it contributed? Are you getting any engagements? And how is the overall support of your social media management efforts, right? So that is so important that you create your social media content strategy, right? Okay. Now, to give your content marketing program the best chance to drive desired results, you should know the answer to these questions. Now, again, take a paper and pen and you write down, who should the content we produce be most relevant to? What kind of people are you looking for? If you are a children book seller, you create children books, what do you do? How can you actually, who would you be selling to? Who's the content going to produce for? Who's going to look at your social media? What kind of content would they like? And what benefits does this audience receive from consuming your content? All right. What desirable and distinctive content experience can be consistently deliver? All right. So this is the 3 things that I want you to write down. I want you to answer that for yourself. Who should the content you produce be most relevant to? What benefits does this audience receive from consuming our content? What is the benefit they're going to get from your daily posts? What desirable and distinctive content experience can you constantly deliver? So what do I mean by that is we're going to actually look at it more. Okay, which social media channels are you on? So before we move on, I want you to understand the social media channels. Okay, now this is the question you need to answer again. Are there channels you need to add or remove? Okay, this is where it comes to in terms of auditing. Now what we're going to do is actually move towards social media audit. What do I mean by social media audit? Is by understanding what platforms should you use? Why should you have the platforms? Should you add or remove any of those platforms? All right. So are there channels you should add or remove? Right. think about deleting on a social account, ask this question first. If you're going to delete a social media account that you think is not relevant, it's not generating you any business, you're not getting any subscribers, you're not getting any followers, what you need to think about, ask this question. Am I posting consistently on this channel? Do you have enough time to post consistently, right? If you don't have enough time, what other platforms can you use? What should you use? What kind of content are you creating? Okay, is weak performance possibly tied to poor execution? Perhaps it's not the social media platform that's the problem. Perhaps it's the execution of it, whether the content is interesting enough, it's intriguing enough. Are you reaching the correct audience, right? So you want to keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about social media, because every social media has its own benefit. Every one of it has its own benefit, has its own demographics that you can reach out. So you want to keep in mind why should you delete a social media? If you're going to delete a social media, if you're not doing it very well on that particular social media, or perhaps you have no time on it. So you want to understand all of this, right? Are your competitors successful on these social media? So have a look at your competitors, understand it. Are they able to, get in? Are they able to be successful as much as you are? Are you more successful than them in that particular platform, right? So go through these questions. How many social media you have? What are the social media that you have? Are you able to manage all the social media? Are you able to post daily consistently? Are you posting great content that they are actually finding it useful? Should you add or remove any kind of social media? So if you do add or remove, why are you doing so, right? And if you're going to delete a social media, is it because you can't cope with it, or is it because you're having problems with execution? Okay, now tips for selecting your social media channels. Now you can see that I've given you here I have 5 social media. Of course, there's so much more social media platform like YouTube and TikTok and many other social media platforms that you can actually use. But here I've actually given you 5 of the most common ones that you can actually see. You understand the strengths of these particular social media, right? For Facebook, sends more website referrals, traffic than any other social media network, all right? Then it geared towards both news and entertainment. So you have this combination of news. It's able to be corporate at the same time. It is able to be entertaining, okay? Future outlook places strong emphasis on video content. So now, as you can see, video content is what is actually being very, very successful. So you want to steer towards video content, right? Next, Twitter views itself as a new news platform as much as a social media network. Okay, retweeting and curation are encouraged, well suited to brands sharing blog posts or promoting website content. Okay, then next up is you want to understand about LinkedIn. It's a professional network. The content you share should reflect this as well. Used heavily for sharing industry practice, industry articles and general professional content. Launched LinkedIn Pulse in 2015. So you want to bear in mind, it's very corporate, it's very educational. So your content should be in terms of educating your consumers, right? Instagram, highly visual, right? And you want to bear in mind, it's all about images, it's all about videos, okay? And you want to showcase that as much. You also want to play with all these new filters that they've provided you with, and you want to play around with all the extra features that they have, like polls and asking a question. So you definitely want to use that, all right? Next thing you want to that I've actually showcased here is actually Pinterest. It's highly visual platform, and it's very towards imagery, right? Content in terms of video or either images. Okay, it's a very I find it very interesting where I can get a lot of information in terms of visual, because again, humans are very visual creatures. We like seeing things. We like seeing images. We like videos. So I want you henceforth to create content that will be very delightful to the image. Create videos that are entertaining, that will actually hook them in. Okay, whether it's whatever platform you're going to use, try to use images and videos as much as you can. Now, what types of content will you create and share on each channel? Okay, so Facebook, you have text, you have image, you have videos, you have link, you have live, you have polls, events, job, stories. So play around with all of it, have fun with it, create content that is going to win them over, make them fall in love with your product, fall in love with your services. LinkedIn, regardless of just one thing that I want you to bear in mind with whenever you're creating content is that there's a human behind every single post that you're going to post. They're going to look at it. Is that something that's going to intrigue them? Is that going to make them like your product? Is that going to make them follow your page? You don't want them to think that all you are doing is actually selling, giving out discounts. So you want to bear in mind that it's not all about the product. It's not all about the sales. It's not all about the discounts. It's not all about the price cut. It's all about the customers. It's all about the consumers. What would they want to see? What would they want to? What would make them want to love, hate? You know, be curious about, be sad about. In terms of your content. So make sure your content falls into one of those emotional categories. And now let's look towards LinkedIn. LinkedIn is about text, link, images, videos, PDF and ebooks, right? Instagram is all about image, video, poll, ask a question, stories, live, countdown, IGTV. So play around it with this, maximize it, right? Twitter is all about text, image, videos, links. Pinterest is all about image, video, and link. So play around with all this content, have fun with it. That is actually how you can get as much people into your social media platforms. Okay. Now let's have a look at the next one. Who will you be creating content for? Okay. Now you want to bear in mind, who will you be creating the content for? You need to get you need a good team to win, right? Build yours by determining the following questions. Now, if you're going to build a team, this is what I want you to do. Who will write your social media account? So, are you the person who is actually creating the content? Are you going to have a team? Is there more than one person working on the content? If you don't have a designer, how will you create graphics? What other software you're going to use to create your social media graphics or videos, right? Do we have the capability to shoot a video? If you're going to make a video, what are the tools you're going to use? What are the editing tools that you're going to use, right? So these are the questions that you would want to actually keep in mind, and also possible answer, right? Now, next thing. The 3 steps to social media audit. Which social media networks are you on? So I'm just going to give you a minute. Perhaps you can even write it down on the chat. What social media platforms are you on for your company, right? What other social media platforms are you using? And list abundant accounts to remove. If you're not using, keep in mind, if you're not using the not consistently using. So what I mean by not consistently using is you're not even posting once a week. You're probably posting whenever you have an idea, or perhaps you're only posting once a month, or perhaps you're posting every 3 months once. So what are the abundant accounts that you want to remove if you have any? List duplicate accounts that emerge, right? So I want you to take a minute. I want you to write down, or you can even write it down in the chat. Perhaps I'll be able to get through it later. You want to actually list down which social media networks are you on, list the abundant accounts that you're currently not using or not able to have enough time to use, or perhaps you don't have enough ideas in terms of the content ideas, and list out duplicate accounts if there's anything that that actually is. Okay, so we have from City, okay, if we have from Masita, you have Facebook and Instagram. All right, that's great. Now, anyone else would like to share what they use on social media? What social media platforms they use? Okay, so here, you can actually draw this diagram out in a piece of paper, and I want you to be able to fill this out for yourself, all right? Yeah, Peggy Chan has Facebook and Instagram as well. Anyone else who actually have using more than Facebook, Instagram, they actually have YouTube, Pinterest, perhaps Twitter. All right, so there's Instagram and LinkedIn as well. Okay, then so when you look at this particular page, now you can see here is social media account inventory, right? So what you can see is network, you can see URL, active, fan followers, and notes. Now I want you to take this down. I want you to write it in a piece of paper. Network, what are the platforms that you're using, right? Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, the websites that you have. Perhaps you have more than one website on your for your particular business. So I want you to write this all down. Then I want you to list down all the URLs in this particular table. So write down the networks, the URLs, and then you see the yes or no, Y or N is yes or no. Is it active? If active, yes. If it's not active, it's no. All right. Then I want you to think about your fan and followers. How many fans do you have? How many followers do you have? Or how many subscribers do you have? All right. I want you to actually list down. I want you to have a look. Now what you're going to do is analyze your particular social media platform. So go through your network. What other networks you have? List it down. I know some of you might have even forgotten what other networks you have. So list down every single platform that you have. URL, copy the URL and write it down. The active ones, which is yes or no. Sorry, whether it's a yes or no. And then how many fans do you have? And write down the notes that you have in mind, like what ideas else do you have in mind? Okay. Now, so that is done. I want you to, next thing is I want you to write down what is the goals that you have. Okay. So, but before you do that, I want you to think of what other platforms you want to use in the future. So say, for example, now you have Facebook and Instagram. Perhaps next you want to create a LinkedIn account. You want to create a YouTube account. So what I want you to do is actually list down the platforms, the URLs, active or non-active, fan, how many fans and followers and subscribers do you have? Make sure that you list down accurately. If it's YouTube, the URL to the YouTube, yes, you post it often. By active, I mean that you've posted it at least once a week. By active, I mean you have at least posted once a week. All right. Next, I want you to also write down notes. Like, for example, what is it that you would like to improve, or perhaps what would list, whether or not you want to have this particular platform or not. All right. Okay, so next is I want you to actually have a look at set social media goals. Okay, so once you've audited your social media presence, it's time to set goals. We can break this down into two categories. Okay, so once you've already understand what are the platforms that you have, I want you to think about the goals. Now you already done the whole activity of what platforms you have, whether it's active or not, how many fans you have, how many subscribers you have. Now we're moving on to social media goals, right? So what you want to keep in mind, business objectives and social objectives. Now, business objective, what do I mean by business objective, right? These are the business goals you have hope to advance through social media. For example, increasing brand awareness, right? To be able to have more people to know about your products and services, okay? Next is social objectives. Social objectives is, for example, increasing your Twitter follower account. You want more subscribers on YouTube. You want more followers on Facebook. You want more followers on Instagram. So you want to list this down as well. Okay, so we have Paris Norashikin. Since we are in the topic of social media, can I ask something? Can our employees force us to share anything related to business on our personal social space? Okay, that is actually, it depends on your company, and it also depends on you yourself. So you might want to be able to speak to your bosses, your directors, and ask them on the purpose. Perhaps they want to create more brand awareness, but it's entirely actually depending on you and your company. So you probably want to have a conversation with your team leaders, your managers, your directors about it on what is it you can share, how should you share, or if you want to or do not want to share, right? Yes, that's right, Ivy. Perhaps Paris, you can also do that. Maybe ask the company to, if you have and you are able to bring in sales um, from your social media platform. Perhaps there is a way for them to actually, give you commission based on that or anything relating to that. But that is a conversation that you need to have with your HR, with your team, with your bosses, and with your directors as well. Now, let's continue a little bit more about understand why you are on social media. So what I want you to do next is actually I want you to list down business objectives and sales objectives, your social objectives, sorry. Your business objective on one side, which is what you want to achieve in terms of social media from your business aspect, and your social objectives, which usually social objectives would be you want to have 1,000 followers by the end of the year. You want to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year on your YouTube. So you want to list that down. You want to list that down for your business objectives. So if anyone here who actually, any one of the participants, we have 67 participants. So if you have any business objectives that are different, why don't you share it on on the chat space, so we can actually discuss about it as well. Business objectives that you have that are completely different from what I've listed. Now, what you want to do is create two different space in your paper perhaps, and write down all the business objective in terms of perhaps in generating sales, in bringing awareness, and what are the business aspects of your how can your social media help your business? So that is basically business objective. Social objectives are what can you achieve in social media. So you want maybe 100 messages in a month on your social media. You want more engagement, you want more comments, you want more likes and shares, you want more followers, you want more, you actually want more than 1,000 subscribers, you want 10,000 followers perhaps. So that is social objectives, all right? Then let's establish the goals. Establishing your specific goals. So here what is unique, this is very important as well, right? So what you want to do is write down the goals. So if your goal, say goal number one is to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, then you write yourself a deadline. Perhaps it's the 1st of January 2021. So that way you will be able to know what is your deadline, what are the objectives that you want to meet in terms of your business, in terms of your social, what are the platform that can help you to actually reach this particular goal. So the more you actually understand your goal, like we've already, the more you understand your business objective, your social objective, you'll be able to create your goals, and then you'll be able to make sure that you write a deadline for it so you're able to achieve it, right? All right, next thing is we have social media competitive analysis. What is social media competitive analysis? All right. As you can see here, we have a competitive inventory. Okay, so this is a competitive inventory. Who's your competition? Now is where you've already understand your business now. You've done an audit of what your company's social media is about, all your platforms that you're using. All right. Next, you've already done the understanding your business objectives. You understand the business objectives, you understand your social objectives, and then you also have a goal and you have a deadline. Now, what's next? Competitive inventory, right? So what is a competitive inventory? What you want to do is understand your competition. Okay, so write down your competitor's name, write down their URL and notes. What do you think that is good about their social media, or what do you think that missing from their social media? What is different about them from your social media? All right, so that is something you want to actually look into, right? So this is again another thing. So you definitely want to do this as well. Competitive inventory, competitors name, the URL, and the notes. Okay. Okay. Now we have top 10 competitor analysis. What do I mean by top 10 competitor analysis? Right. So this is where you write your competitor, their Facebook, what are the platforms they have, and after that, how many fans and followers do they have in that particular social media platform, right? So first up, you want to do the analysis of what is their URL, what is the competitor name, what are the platforms they use, and the fans and followers that they have. Okay, how can you outdo your competition? Okay, what can we do better? List what you can do better than your competition. Okay, list down every single thing that you're different and how can you do better in terms of social media platform. Okay, now one thing is understanding your unique selling proposition. The other thing is to understand what is it that you're good at in social media and how are you actually different um, from your competitor. How can you be better? What is different, what is unique, and what is why should they come to you? So you want to actually list that down, right? Because then you can actually showcase that a lot more. Okay, and what can you do differently, right? So what you can do better and what can you do differently. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. Align your strategy with your target audience. Now, gather as much information as you can about your most loyal customers. Now, this is the most important, interesting part. A lot of people don't understand who their target audience is. More often than not, we assume that everyone is our target audience. So, what you need to do is write down what is their age range. If your target audience is between are they teenagers? Are they young adults? Are they people who are under 20, above 20? Are they the working business crowd? What kind of, are they perhaps older? Perhaps they are 50 and above. Now, where do they live? Do they live in, um, do they live in, I mean, what kind of area do they live in? Where do they live? What country do they live in? What is their time location? Perhaps you're having an international demographics, right? International range of target audience. So what you want to do is understand their time frame, all right? Next, you want to know what language do they speak. Are you actually targeting the audience that speak English? Are you targeting the audience that speak French or Spanish, perhaps, or Mandarin speaking target audience? So you want to create content according to that. But make sure that you really, really understand that your target audience, it's super crucial that you actually fill this form up. What's the age range? Where do they live? What language do they speak? What are their interests? Are they interested in cars, housing? Are they parents? Are they in business? Are they working for someone? Are they corporate? Those are the questions that you want to ask in terms of interest. What's important to them, right? Next thing you want to do is what's important to them. Okay, what challenges do they encounter on a day-to-day basis, right? And how your particular product and service is able to help them in this particular the challenges that they're facing. Okay, the next you want to do is be more specific on buyer persona. Okay, now this is how you actually build your buyer persona. Your persona's name, you give them, just give them a random name, the job title that you think they might have, age, so it could be the age range that you have already created, the gender, whether they're male or female, income level, what is their income level, location, where do they live, what is their time frame compared to yours, as in like which country are they from, perhaps. And then next up, their interests and hobbies. Okay, the next the continuation of that would be the challenges and aspiration. What challenges would they face? What would they aspire to be? Their favorite blogs, their favorite vlogs. What kind of videos would they watch? What kind of movies would they watch? Where would they have their dinner at? What kind of car would they have? What kind of houses would they have? And any what are the news sources they would go after. Okay. Next, now you can see here, insert 1 or 2 paragraph characters. Sorry. Okay. So as you can see here, you can insert 1 or 2 paragraph character summary. How would your target customer audience member describe themselves? So you want to write down how would they describe themselves. Okay. So these are the questions that you actually want to answer. So again, bear in mind, this is super crucial to creating your target or understanding your target audience, your buyer persona, and eventually you'll be able to create your content that the content that we've already spoken about on Monday. All right. So you want to understand their age, where do they live, who they are, language they speak, what interests do they have, are they married, are they not married, what kind of car they drive, what kind of house they live in, what kind of lifestyle they have, what kind of jobs would they have, right? Their gender, their income level, their challenges, their aspiration, their dreams, what would they want to achieve, what blogs, what movies they watch, what kind of lifestyle do they live, right? So that is what you want to answer in terms of buyer persona. So I hope that you actually understand, what is your buyer persona is, what is your target audience, and that way eventually you'll be able to create the content relating to your particular target audience, right? Next, you want to do is establish a brand voice. Okay. Now, every one of your brand has a brand voice and have a brand tone. Okay. So what do? I'll describe your brand voice and personality. Now, if you don't mind, I would love to know, what do you think your brand voice is? What is your brand tone is? Okay. So how do you do that? Is actually in 3 words, describe your social brand voice. So you write down the adjective that you think your social brand voice is. Then your mission statement. Okay. Insert your brand. As you can see here, you want to insert your brand, and then create social content to insert the benefit and insert the audience for. So insert your brand, insert the benefits that they get from you, and insert the audience. Okay. Okay. So it's very important for you to understand your brand voice. What do I mean by brand voice? Brand voice is either, are you caring, are you loving, are you fierce, are you forceful? Those are the brand voice that you actually want to, that is the brand voice that you want to understand. What are you from? Are you caring? Are you, health conscious? Are you, do you like to show your passion? Are you interested? So like previously, we've already spoken about Nike, right? Nike, and what we've already spoken about is also Harley Davidson. So you've already gone through what their brand voices are about. Like Harley Davidson, it's about being fierce, it's about being adventurous, it's about being wild. Those are the brand voice that Harley Davidson have gone for. As for Nike, they've gone towards to motivating. They're driven. So you want to understand your brand voice as well. Okay. So next up is, you want to understand social media content strategy. Okay. So overall, we've already spoken about all the content strategy, social media content strategy, but here is content curation. Okay. Now, your source name, what are the trusted content sources that you can use? Perhaps you have, if you're talking about the health in the current situation with COVID-19, then you would probably take your information from the World Health Organization. You will be taking it from your Ministry of Health. So perhaps you can write down the source, a name, and the source URL. So in the future, you would be able to use content, reshare their content. If you're in education, you can actually get it from the Ministry of Education or any other trustable education platforms. And then you just write down the source name and the URL here. So you're able to go back and actually find the content. Okay. So here's how you actually do it. Write down the content types you will create. So content type we've already described previously. We have according to social media, you can create various different content types. So you want to list down all kinds of content types. Next, content types, next thing you want to do is What is the purpose of your content, right? So now you want to fill it out. Your original content, is it entertaining? Is it informative? Does it promote your products or services? Does it promote your content in terms of your blog posts, your vlogs, your ebooks, your landing pages, your websites, right? And then promote your partners if you do have partners that you're working with. Promote contests or challenges that you're going to do. Those are all original content that you have created, the images that you have created. All right. Then the next thing you want to understand is curated content. Okay, curated content is whether it's entertaining, is it informative, is it does it promote products and services, what does it, again, it's the kind of same thing, but you want to know whether it's original content or curated content. Now, here is something that you need to know is social media posting frequency. How often would you post your social media per day? Okay. So if Facebook, you need to list down how often would you post your social media content per day. If you're going to post it per week, how often per week? Maybe 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or 5 times a week. Twitter, how many times per day or how many times per week? Google, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and so on and so forth. So that is how you actually list it down and how often you want to post it, by per day, per week. All right. You don't want to go further from that. You definitely want to stay within per day or per week. All right. Next is social media calendar strategy. List upcoming events, product launches, and important dates to add to your content calendar. Okay. So you want to list down all the holidays. So if you have New Year's, Christmas, Eid, or any other public holiday of your country, any other special festivities that you might have, any upcoming events that you might have, product launches, real estate launches that you might have, event launches of your very own company. So you definitely would want to actually mention that. Right? Okay. Frida, you have a question, so I'm going to take 1 or 2 questions right now. Frida, may I request for a copy of your slides? Yes, the slides will be on the WIEF page. It will be there for you to be able, you'll be able to download it from the particular page. I think later today they will actually send out the link to it, so you can actually download it from there. All right. Warda actually have a question on what is the optimum number of times to post in a day. Okay, now let's have a look. I'm just going to give you now, it also depends on your business, on your products, and how much time and effort you can spend. But this would be the optimum level, would actually be, the first thing you want to do is you want to keep in mind for Facebook, perhaps if you can actually post 5 times a day or a minimum 3 times a day would be amazing. Now you have to bear in mind the content ideas that ideas and content that I've already given you on Monday. You want to keep that in mind when you're going to post your content, all right? 80-20 is the rules that you should follow, the formula that you should follow to be able to win over all your customers, whether it's your current consumers or also consumers that you're going to get in the future. So keep in mind the 80-20 rule in terms of content development, and remember you want to, the 6 main things that you have to, 6 main ideas that you need to when you're going to create your content. All right. So in terms of the optimum number of times to post, for Facebook, between 3 to 5 times a day. For Instagram, it's about maybe you can actually even post 2 to 3 times a day, but the stories, try to keep it as many stories as possible. 10 will be best. So 10 stories per day is amazing. So you keep them updated. Don't worry about that you're feeling too much in. No, you're not. You want to actually try to post a lot of stories as much as you can, because now it's all about the Insta stories, it's all about the Facebook stories, so you want to have fun with it and go crazy with it. So one thing you want to bear in mind, for Facebook, again, it's between 3 to 5. Instagram is between 2 to 3 posts, but keep in mind stories is about 10 or more if possible. YouTube, you probably at least want to post at least once a week, okay? At least once a week on YouTube. And then you have LinkedIn. Try to post every day, Monday to Friday, on LinkedIn as much as possible. Post every day once at the very least, or twice. That is LinkedIn. We've talked about YouTube, we've talked about LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. So I hope that helps, Warda, in terms of the number of optimum posts and times. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to. Okay. So Tina. Okay. So I'm just going to go back to what we've learned on Monday. Monday, we talk about the 80-20 rule, the formula of it. So I'm actually going to go through it because I think some of you were not here on Monday. So Tina, what I mean by 80-20 in terms of content development, yeah, is all about 80% of the time, your content should be entertainment, educational, or value adding. So it should be about entertaining your consumers. It's about educating them, or either creating value for them. All right. And in 20% of the time is where you share content relating to discounts, sales, price cuts, products, services, right? So 20% of the time is all about products, your services, discounts, your sales, and price cuts, and all those relating to your business aspect falls under the 20%. And 80% of the time, it's all about educating them, about entertaining them, and creating value for them. All right. So make sure that you follow this 80-20 rule in every post. That means 20% of the time in a month only can you post for products, for services, and also for discount, sales, price cuts. All this fall under 20%. That means in a month only 20%. 80% of the rest of the month, you're supposed to post entertaining, educational, as well as value adding content, right? I hope I answered your question, Tina, as well. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to continue on with the slides, and I'll take in more question as it comes, all right? Now, the next thing is you want to, for social media content strategies, list upcoming events, product launches, holidays. You want to list it down in your content calendar. Then what else do you include on your content calendar? Insert the original content and the information about it. That means whether it's informative, is it promotional, is it educational, is it value adding, is it about your services, or is it about products? So it's exactly like this. Insert the content, insert the caption, and write it down whether it's informative, promotional, and as well as whether it's informational, promotional, or either if it's entirely on your products or services. Okay, so I'm going to take a few more questions I see in the Q&A session. We are an organization, we don't have products to sell. How do I, as the one in charge of the organization, social media platform, increase our followers? Any tips and shortcuts? Okay. Okay, so I'm guessing by you do not have products, you are selling services. Okay, so what I mean by selling services is like providing a service. So what you want to do is showcase the service you're providing, and you can actually. Okay, so in terms, now social media platforms, there are multiple different platforms. In terms of services, you want to know which platform are you using first, whether you're using Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Now, for me, I'm keeping in mind that you're using the 5 most basic one: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter perhaps, or any other platforms. Now, for what you want to do is to increase followers in Facebook, you want to always bear in mind content is the key, right? Make sure you have a business page on Facebook and constantly post content at least 3 to 4 times a day, right? And if you're going to post on Instagram, what you want to do is make sure that you have maybe 3 to 5 times post of content in a day as well, or maybe 2 to 3 times at a minimum. And what you want to actually showcase a lot more is on the stories. Showcase a lot of Insta stories, and make sure that you geo tag your stories as well as your posts. Make sure you tag your location and have about a maximum and minimum of 30 hashtags. Like I've mentioned on Monday, the 30 hashtag will consist of the most generic hashtags, which is about your business, the services you provide, and then followed by the location, perhaps your country, like hashtag Indonesia, hashtag Malaysia, hashtag UK, anywhere that you actually are located, and then followed by the hashtag of your specific hashtag, your company's name and your name perhaps. Okay, so 30 hashtag in terms of Instagram. In terms of YouTube, what you want to do is post at a minimum of 2 to 3 times a week. Get more subscribers, make sure the content is entertaining. You want to cross post your social media. So if you already post something on YouTube, you want to take that link and post it on Instagram as well as on Facebook, so they will be able to go into your YouTube account, post the link there, right? So they'll be able to go to your your YouTube account, and they'll be able to subscribe. So you want to make sure you cross post everywhere if you're using YouTube and Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. So cross post it so people know you do have a YouTube account. They know that you have a Facebook account, an Instagram account, LinkedIn account, and so on and so forth. So you want to cross post. You want to make sure you use a lot of hashtags in Instagram. Make sure you use your location in Facebook and also on YouTube. And you want to post consistently and post a lot of stories. So that is what you can do for in terms for increasing your followers, right? Those are the tips that I can give you first. But there will be a lot more tips on the ebook that I will be sending out onto your emails, right? Okay, I hope I answered your question as well. So next we have Siti. How can women leaders brand themselves better on social media? So if you are going to brand yourself in terms of as a person, on as a woman leader, what I want you to do is actually post a lot about yourself. They want to know your lifestyle, right? Okay, they want to know your lifestyle, so showcase your lifestyle. If you are going to sell yourself, you're selling your identity, you're selling your brand as yourself. You want them to follow you for what you are able to provide them, what you are able to educate them, and what value you can create for them. So you want to actually showcase that, who you are, what lifestyle can you provide, what can they aspire to be. That is what you want to showcase. And then what you want to do is you also want to be on all platforms, and you want to create content that again can educate them, can create value to them. So make sure your content is always relating to how can you bring value to them. How can they remember? You have to instigate an emotion out of a human. You have to make sure that if you want a good community to follow you as a brand leader, what you want to bear in mind is that you want to make sure that you're creating great content in terms of being able to educate them in something. You're creating value to them. They have benefits of watching your videos, your content. And then also make sure that you're across all platforms with the same brand. Okay, make sure that you have a branding of your own. Maybe your name is your brand, or maybe you have a different name that you're going for. Make sure that it's in every single video, in every single image out there. So that is what you want to do. Make sure you're on all platforms, post as often as possible, showcase lifestyle, add value, showcase, what you want to do is also give education. So what can you benefit them? Perhaps you can talk about how to have a productive day, how to have a work-life balance. So create content that will inspire them, will educate them, will make them want to dream, to aspire to be something else. So that is actually how you can brand yourself as a woman leader out there. So as long as you're along all the platforms and also creating amazing content, you should be perfectly fine. So I hope I answered your question, Siti, right? Next we have Ivy. How can we use TikTok as a social media platform for a company? Right, serious stuff, not dancing extra. Okay, I totally get you. Okay. Because I when TikTok first started and it started getting famous, I myself had that thing of, how do I actually create content that people can take seriously? Now, what you want to do is you can actually seek a few, follow a few doctors and lawyers. I think there's a lot of doctors and lawyers that are creating content on TikTok actually. So what you want to do is, what I notice constantly that has been really, really effective for them was that they're educating people on TikTok. It's all about education or entertainment. So if you want to be serious, then educate them. How can you educate them? First, perhaps what you can do is showcase your company. That's one thing to do. showcase the products and services. How can you showcase the products and services? Maybe the production line, how you package your customer service. You want to show that, you want to showcase that. And then how can you educate them? So in TikTok, you're able to have text boxes, right, on anywhere. That means you can even take an image and then you can have text boxes appearing around it. So you want to educate them perhaps on how to purchase your product, what the benefit of your product, why should they buy from you, what is different about you. So you can actually educate them. So use TikTok as an educational tool for you, for your company. Obviously, you don't, if it's a corporate account, you don't want to go towards dancing. I totally understand it. So what you want to do is use it as an educational background. You want to educate them, what they can learn from you, how can you add value to them. So it's not about entertainment, but it's so much more about education, educating them, adding value to their life. So create content teaching them about your products, about your services, why should they buy from you, what are the other education, what are the tools that you use that makes you so successful perhaps, what are the tools that you as a company would use, so those are the content that you can actually create on TikTok that will make people follow you, because you're educating them and giving them information that they can use. So create content in terms of educational when it comes to TikTok. That is one way you can actually go if you want to go on a serious aspect of TikTok. I hope I answered your question. Next, Siti, how to promote causes for women empowerment effectively on social media from your perspective? Okay, how to promote causes for women empowerment effectively on social media from your perspective. Okay, so now how to promote, what you can do is use all social media platforms like I've mentioned. Use as many social media platforms. And then what you want to do is educate them in terms of like what is your cause. So how you can empower them, what empowers them. Like you want to be motivating, you want to be educational, like how can they get help from you, or what is it that you're providing and what is the cause you're for. They need to know you, they need to understand you. So the thing about promoting a cause on social media or for women empowerment, you want to understand who are your target audience, who you want to reach, what kind of woman you want to reach. That is the first thing you want to keep in mind. Secondly, you want to understand what are the content that you need, that will create, that will help this woman, you see. So it's all about, again, when coming to creating content, you need to understand your target audience. And secondly, you need to understand what would touch them, what would they need, what would they would actually want to read about, watch about. So create content that would help these women to empower them. So maybe you can create videos that are empowering, showcasing other women that are successful or have overcome challenges, writing down tips on having a checklist or tips on how to overcome a particular challenge, or how to overcome a bad day perhaps, or how to overcome challenges as an entrepreneur. So those are content that you want to create. You want to create content. Number one is you need to understand your target audience. Number two is they need to know you, what you stand for, who you want to give them out a brand story first. So understanding your brand, your target audience, first thing. Second thing is showcasing them your brand story. What do you stand for? What are the causes that you want to promote? Why do you want to empower them? How do you want to empower them? Thirdly, the content should be all about educating them, and educating them how content that will help them, adding value to their life. So those are the content that you want to go after. And to promote them, remember, all platforms, as often as possible, share a lot of stories, and hashtags are important. Make sure there are relevant hashtags and they're able to find you. So the more platforms you're on, the more they'll be able to find you. That's how you promote a particular social media or promote your page, right? So I hope I answered your question, Siti. So I'm actually going to continue first before I move on to more questions. Okay, so we've already done with social media strategy. Now let's move on to social media marketing measurements. Okay. Social media marketing measurements is all about choose which metrics to monitor. Okay, so this is how you monitor or this is how you actually play with the analytics basically. Okay. On Facebook, it's all about likes, shares, comments, clicks, engagement rate, referral, traffic, and then it's also about video views and conversion. So you want to check out what is constantly happening on your Facebook. Do you have likes? Do you get a lot of likes on your post? Do you get a lot of shares on your post? Do you get a lot of comments on your post? Do you get a lot of clicks? How's the engagement rate? Do you get a lot of referral traffic? Is there video views? If you do have video views, how many video views do you have? And what are your conversions? All right. Next, on Twitter, this is what you have to, the metrics that you have to look at: likes, retweets, replies, referral traffic, and conversion. All right. Then you have, then let's see, we have LinkedIn. We have likes, we have comments, we have replies, we have referrals, and we have conversion as well. And we have Instagram, we have follower counts, likes, comments, referral traffic. Okay. Then next we have Pinterest, we have repins, referral traffic, and conversion. Okay. Then we have measurement checklists. Okay, configure your Google Analytics to track social media traffic and conversion. You can check it on your Facebook Analytics. Instagram have analytics as well. YouTube have analytics as well. So go around, get familiarized with your Facebook Analytics, your YouTube Analytics, all your social media analytics, even your website on Google Analytics as well. Okay. So play around with analytics. It's very important. Now here's what you need to do. Now you track on your 90-day progress. For Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram, page likes and followers, list it down. The growth, how much have you grown in percentage? Referral traffic, how much referral traffic do you have? And conversion. So this is what I want you to actually do. Like today you create this particular table for yourself according to the social media platforms you have, and then you compare it from what you have today and to the progress you have in 90 days from now. And if you do have the time 90 days from now, please do share with me. I would love to know how's your progress like after the session here today. Okay, then we have notes and findings. Okay, notes and findings is what went well. I want you to actually, after this whole 90 days, 3 months, what you want to do is what went well with your strategy, what went wrong with your strategy, what can you improve on the strategy. So right now, since you have already done the target audience, you have already known your competitor analysis, you understand your goals and your business objective and social objectives. What you want to do is actually write down what went well, what is the strategy you're currently using that is successful, and what is the strategy that you're currently using that's not been really successful but would like to improve on, and how would you improve this, and what would you like, what your goals would be. So write this down now and then compare it to 90 days from now, after you've changed up your strategy a little bit from today. Okay, so now that we have your notes and findings, okay, so this is a little bit about of what we've done on content, because I see that most of you all have problems with content. I totally understand content development is tough when, especially tough when you are creating the content itself, because sometimes you're stuck with ideas and what should you post, what should you not post. So here is what I want you to think of whenever you are creating a content: the value, the trust, the empowerment, the hope, the community, and the results. All right, what value can you bring? Right, this is exactly what we went through on Monday, but I can't stress this enough on how important this is. So it's very important in your content strategy and in your brand storytelling, in your branding, in coming up with content, from the big picture to the very small picture. Whenever you're thinking about your brand, whenever you're thinking about social media, even when you're thinking about the whole picture of your business, I want you to think of this. This is the core of business, all right? The core of humanity is value. What value can you bring them? Okay, what trust? How can you develop trust? How can you empower them? How can you create hope? All right, how can you give them hope? And how can you create this community, and how do you showcase your results? So whenever you're creating your content, you're thinking of your content strategy, you're thinking about your target audience, and also coming up with content, thinking of what content to post every single day. And when you think of, does your content fall under one of these 6 categories? Are you able to create value for them? Are you able to are they able to trust you? Are you able to create content enough that they trust you? You see, are you empowering them? Or how can you empower them? Okay, and hope. Are you able to give them hope? Are you able to create a community? Because when you create a community, people will have empathy towards you. They'll be understanding, they'll be caring, they'll be kind towards you, towards your team, towards your customer service, towards your sales, towards your after sales services, or even towards just talking to you about your business, you see. So you definitely want to create a sense of community, and you want to showcase the results, right? So you definitely want to have your content falling under one of these categories: value, trust, empowerment, hope, community, and result. Show your passion, show your love, show your interest. Make sure that all your content fall under this 6 category. Okay. Then what you want to do is, from results, you want to how can you showcase results? Through tutorials, through winnings, through awards, through your milestones. Next, what you want to do is showcase your lifestyle. Okay, why showcase your lifestyle? Because you can create a sense of community. You can empower them, you can hope them. Showcase the lifestyle of, once they buy your product, how's your customer lifestyle like, how's your lifestyle like, so they will feel connected to you. Because you have to bear in mind, every person who's reading your content is a human, so you want them to feel connected to you as much as you can, right? You want to make sure that they understand that you're also a human, that you're able to connect to them, you understand them, and you will bring them benefit when they buy your product or services. So you want to create a trust, you want to create empowerment, you want to build make sure that they have hope as well as community, the sense of community, right? That is all under the content of creating a lifestyle content. Okay. Next, you want to actually add value. How do you add value? Creating valuable content, which is educational, giving them tips, giving them a checklist, giving them ideas, motivating them, engaging with them. Those are all value adding content, right? So that is exactly what you want to do. Okay. Next, social media content strategy. This is what you've already overall learned with me right now. So it is going through again, what is your social media content strategy on an overall that we've already covered. Okay, you want to bear in mind, okay, and you want to answer all these questions as well, that what differentiates you. Okay, what's your elevator pitch? If you got 30 seconds or 60 seconds to speak to someone about your business or service, what will you say? Gather best testimonials in terms of video if possible, and post it up. What makes you unique? Showcase that as much as possible. Craft a compelling story. We've already gone through brand storytelling. So brand storytelling is all about the consumer. It's not about the history of a company, but it's all about the consumer. So create stories that will compel them, would make them fall into one of those emotional category of excited, fun, happy, sad, or aspire to become, right? Next, how will you execute? You want to keep in mind, how would you execute? What do you need to learn? What tools are necessary, right? How and who is responsible? How will you measure? So what do you need to learn? That means, what are the tools you need to learn? What platform do you need to learn? What platform are you going to use? What tools are necessary? Do you need any other software? Do you need any other help? All right. And who's responsible? Who's the one who's going to create content? Who's going to post the content? Who's the one who's going to post stories every day? And how will you measure your success? That is through the analytics that we've already gone through, and the 90-day measurement that I've already given you earlier. So that is how you actually measure your success. How much have you improved? Whether or not you should keep that particular social media platform. Is it successful? If it's not successful, what can you do to actually make it successful? Right? And next, you want to understand, who is your customer? What are the age brackets of your customer? You want to totally understand your target audience and your buyer persona. You want to understand your target audience and your buyer persona. So you need to know what's their age bracket, their gender, their location, their college degree, what car they use, what house they live in, where do they live in, what location they are, which country are they from, are they male or female, are they married, are they not married, do they have kids, do they not have kids, are they in the older age group, So these are all the questions you want to answer. Make sure you can go as deep as possible in terms of understanding your buyer persona and your target audience. The more deeper you go into understanding your target audience and your buyer persona, the easier it will be to understand, to create content, to educate them, to create value for them, and also to entertain them. So your content should fall under these three categories: educating, creating value, as well as entertaining them. Okay, so apart from these other these three will fall under the 80%: educating them, value adding for them, and entertaining them. Okay, so these three, entertaining, value, and entertaining, value, and education, three content will fall under the 80%. 20% of the content will be totally fall under your discounts, your business, your products, your services. Those are all the 20% of the content that you need to create. You want to be engaging. You always have to bear in mind the one thing that most often we forget as we create content is that they're humans at the other end. So it's all about them. What would they want to see? What would they want to hear from you? And it's not always about the product. It's not always about the service. It's about how much can you bring value to them, right? Next, you understand where's your audience. Are they online? What platforms do they use? Where do they shop? Do they belong to any association? What publications do they read? So these are all the things that you want to always keep in mind, right? Next, what are your goals? Okay, what goals you want to achieve? Okay, establish your brand, increase visibility, generate traffic to your website, growth and sales revenue. So you want to understand all of this in terms of your own business, in terms of your sales, in terms of your discounts. You want to understand your brand better. By understanding your target audience, you will understand your brand better as well. So how can you increase visibility? What are the platforms? So you have to keep in mind, the more platforms you have, the more easier it is to find you. The more you will increase your search engine optimization, and the better you will have in getting more sales, right? You want to generate more traffic to your website. So make sure that every single platform that you use on social media has a link to your website. Okay. And you want to grow sales and revenue. So you can actually use the, click here to go to shop now and stuff like that as a call to action, right? Next, you want to also keep in mind, when will you communicate? What social networks do you want to use? How often will you post? You want to be very detailed in that, and you would want to follow that. Okay. Next, you want to actually do is whether are you going to vlog or are you going to blog? But try to use video as often as possible because it's been very successful. So use videos as often as you can. And next, will you use visuals? Are you going to use visuals? What visuals are you going to use? Okay. So now I'm actually going to I hope you understand what I've actually spoken to you about in terms of brand storytelling, in terms of content creation, in terms of content strategy. So now I'm going to answer a few more questions before I go through with you the ebook that I'm going to send to your emails, right? So let's have a look at the first question. From City. Hi, it's great to have a big follower and active engagement on social media, but do we increase that numbers into sale or reflect it on our business profits and actually close the deals from our posts? How do we increase the numbers into sale or reflects it into our business or profits? Okay, so what you can do first is that it's amazing that you have a lot of followers and active engagement. So next, what you want to do is that now that you have an engaging group, you want to be able to have a call to action so they can actually click on the website to go to the e-commerce page or be able to purchase it online or purchase it on your social media platform. So make sure that you have a call to action that, if you like this particular product, click here and they'll be able to go to the page, the purchasing page, for example. So make sure that every single post has a call to action that they're able to click to go to your website, to go to a place where they can actually purchase it immediately, right? You can also close the deals from your posts as well. I don't usually recommend to close it on, as in like if people are commenting and saying that they want to buy a product, I don't recommending closing it on the post, but you want to actually make sure that they either give you a call or email you, so you'll have the lead generation as well, or either make them go into your e-commerce website. So that would be good, or either even through your Facebook Messenger or Instagram messages. That is a great way to you want to push them towards to buy a product. So you are able to also contact them in the future as well. So make sure that you have a call to action button everywhere, and a link to your website or any other platforms that your website or e-commerce sites. And the next thing is that try to close the deal where you will be able to get information about the consumer as well. So you will be able to send send more content later in the future to them. Right. Next is from Anna. Hi, I'm Anna, also from Indonesia. I wonder if there is a menu calendar for making a social media content. Yes, actually there is. In fact, I will go through, I've actually gone through this whole menu content. I've given out 120 different content on Monday, but I will be definitely sending you the menu content over email within this week. So you'll actually be able to get that. We have 120 different types of content that you can pick and choose from as a idea, and then you'll be able to elaborate from further. And be sending you an ebook to help you understand your content strategy as well as creating content. So I hope that it'll be useful for you. Right, next is Ivy. As the person who will self-appoint to handle the social media, it does sound very intimidating and overwhelming to create so many contents daily. Yes, I totally understand you, Ivy. Okay, so this is what I do. When I first started out, what I do is I create a content schedule. So I'll be sharing with you on the ebook as a content schedule. How do you create a content schedule? What you want to do is only spend maybe 1 or 2 days on the content schedule, and then after that don't have to worry about it. So create content for 2 or 3 months in advance, keeping in mind the holidays, the product launches, the activities, the seminars, the trainings that you might attend as well, and use that to have an extra post or stories. But you want to actually create a calendar, and that includes the daily post. So it could be video, you already created the video, and put it in the calendar, and then you want to create the caption as well. So always put the post idea that you have. Maybe it's going to be a poll, or it's going to be a video, it's going to be infographic, it's going to be image. Make sure that all of it is already created, the whole graphics is created. Drop it into the social media calendar, and then after that, what you want to do is make sure that you create the caption as well and put it into the social media calendar. And what you want to do on a daily basis is just post it back. Or either you can, for Facebook, there is a way you can actually post in advance, then it posts daily on its own, scheduling on its own. You can do that. So you can use all the other, there's a lot of other platforms where you can actually post in advance, and then it goes on its own up on your social media platform. So what you want to do is create content way in advance, so you actually can focus on your business and don't have to worry about your social media platform. So I hope that answered your question, Ivy. Next, Ivy as well. When we cross post in various platforms, do we do that immediately on the same day, or do we give it a day or two to post the same content to a different platform? What you can do is actually mix it around. Don't post it on the same day, because if people are following you on all platforms, it can be quite boring to look at it. So what you want to do is post it in different days along different weeks. So for example, what you post on Monday, you can actually post it again on a different platform on a Friday or the following Monday. So that is how far you want to give it a gap, so they remember it often, right? So post it a bit further away, more than 4 or 5 days would be better on different platforms. All right, and next we have Risky. How much social media should we have so that our customers can connect with us? How do we choose the right social media if our resources are still limited to manage? Okay, so Risky, the one thing you want to bear in mind is how much time do you have to spend, right? That's the first thing you want to keep in mind. Second mind is, are you able to cope? If you have a lot of platforms, are you able to cope in posting it every day? Because in one particular social media, you need to post more than once. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 or even 5 times. And then if you're looking at Instagram, like I've gave you a tip on, is that you want to post more than 10 stories in a day. So you want to keep in mind, like, how many social media platforms can you manage? And if you're not able to manage so many, what you want to do is also use a content calendar and preempt and pre-post everything in advance, so it goes on its own. So all you're doing is only spending a day or two on graphics, on designing and coming up with content ideas. So that way you have it away from your mind and you're able to focus completely on your own business as well. So what you want to do is create a content strategy. What are the platforms you're going to use? See which one is the most effective, and then after that, create content according to it and post it early in advance. Create a content calendar, create everything in advance, let it post on its own as the day goes by. So that is what you want to do in terms of spending time, because I know if you actually spend in a day for social media every day on its own, you will not create good content. That is one. The other one is you will probably lack of ideas on some days. So what you want to do, Risky, is think what content what platform you want to use, how much time and effort you can actually spend on, and after that, if you're able to manage all the platforms, you want to do it in advance. So you want to create a content calendar way in advance, at least 2 to 3 months earlier for 2 to 3 months posts, right? So that is what you want to do, so you can have it out of your mind totally. All right, next we have Charmin. Looking at the current situation, do you think native advertising becomes irrelevant, viable anymore to us to invest in? By native, I assume that it's you're talking about traditional marketing, which is like you're looking at newspaper. I wouldn't say newspapers. I would say that you're looking at billboards and things like that. Then it actually depends on your demographics. You can still use native advertising, but you would want to. The thing about native advertising compared to digital marketing or digital advertising is that you're able to see your return of investment faster in terms of social media advertisement. What you can see is you're able to go, if you're actually posting a Facebook advertisement, you're able to go to analytics and actually see the demographics of people who have actually seen the post, have actually their gender, their age group, their interests. You get a lot more information. It's not that traditional marketing has died off. It's not. It's still viable. I would assume it's still doing quite well. But it's expensive. It's just a little bit more expensive. So what you want to do is actually spend a lot of time or spend more effort. However, social media takes a lot of effort. So in terms of social media, it takes a lot of effort. That is one thing. The other thing is that it is really, there's a lot of return of investment because you're able to reach out to a diverse group of people internationally and within your country. You're able to reach a diverse age group according to the demographics of each social media platform. So you definitely want to, to create amazing content on your social media platform as well. And for me, I've seen there's a lot of a faster return of investment in terms of social media advertising, because I get to see a lot more analytics. And I'm able to connect with each and one of the consumers. So if someone actually comment on it, I'm able to advise them. I'm able to give tips to them. So I kind of like that human touch that's going on with social media. We get to, you have a direct conversation with your consumers. So that is in terms of the advertising, traditional and social media advertising. All right, so next we have, if there's any questions, please do send to me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go through with you what is on the ebook that's going to be sent to you, right? So this is how the ebook is going to look like, more or less. It's going to be a PDF document that's going to be sent to you. In this ebook, you will have, the slides will be on WIEF's website, so you can just download it. The ebook will be emailed to you. So in your ebook, you will have section 1, which is developing a social media strategy. Okay, what does your business social media platform strategy is about? You will be able to fill out the questions. It's a full ebook on you being able to fill out the questions about your buyer persona, right? These are all the questions that I'm going to show that you will have. What's your job role, your title, what's your job measured? It's all about your role question, your company question, your goal questions, your challenge questions. your watering hole question, your personal background question. Okay. Next, you have shopping preference question and the why questions. There's also follow-up questions that you can fill up in the box that's given. It's in terms of understanding their job, career path, family, gender, age, income, and location, as well as, and then we move on to the activity 2, which is developing a KPI. So you'll be able to develop your own KPI in terms of reach, engagement, return of investment, retention, and loyalty. Social media listening will be the second session, which will talk about your sentiment towards your brand, how to actively listen on social media. So it's like there's a how-to guide, and as well as understanding your own brand and your brand persona as well, and understanding your social listening skills as well. And then the benefits of social listening and how can you monitor, and then also some major benefits in terms of that you can see here is the major benefits of social monitoring. Okay, you get to see, and also you get to write down the benefits that you have come across. And the third section is about building content strategy for your social media. Okay, and top performing posts, content type on Facebook, which is the most top performing post. You definitely want to keep that in mind always for your first Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, other channels that you have. And also the next one in content marketing is the content idea to inform, entertain, connect. So there's all the details here. Then the section 4 is about extending your reach on social media. Whether if you want to use influencers, you want to use journalists, media personalities, content creators, local influencers, influencer marketing, how can you use it? Next, on section 5, yes, using social media to build one-to-one relationship. And here there's a little bit, there are several tactics to it. So there's actually showcase the tactics for you. Respond to comments, use humor, additional value, ask for reviews. And then you have activities for it as well. And then you also have a part where you get to know your followers. Okay. And you have, there's a lot of questions that you will go through. And we have activity 3, understanding on Instagram, LinkedIn, understanding your basic digital advertising, your awareness stage, your consideration stage, and your decision stage, which we have already gone through on Monday as well. So if you're not been here on Monday, this will really help you to understand what we did on Monday as well. And then what are the ads that will actually help you, and how can you actually use the ads to maximize your sales as well. Measuring your social return of investment. These are all the social return of investment that you can have, and or you might have already have. So you want to understand what you've already gotten back. And then next you want to understand is essentials for continued success with social media. How can you actually continue the success? Your crisis management. The one of the topics that we have not really actually gone through is social media crisis management. So I've even given you a little bit on how to handle social media crisis management here, your social media policy here. So these are topics we have not gone through, but I would love to share it with you. I want to give you a little bit extra here. So your how to create a policy, and also social media crisis management. So this ebook will be sent to you. And you also have you also have in continuation to this ebook, you will have 120 different content ideas will be sent to you on the email as well. So go through the content ideas, do send me back emails on how you like the program or the content ideas, or how are you going about with the ebook, how useful it is to you. I would love to know from your end as well. Again, for the slides, it's on the WIEF website. This ebook as well as the content ideas will be emailed to you to your email that you have registered on. So if you do have any questions, please do ask me questions. I'll be able to answer you right now. Any questions? All right. So from Malik. Okay, for Malik, yes, you can still access the Monday session slides on the WIEF website. It's already there. For today's session as well, it'll be on the WIEF's website. And as well as there's be ebook sent to you. If you're registered with your email address, we'll send the ebook for you as well with 120 different content ideas along with a content strategy, content calendar. And anyone with a question? Oh, thank you, Paz. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. So, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask. So, and also to keep in mind that I would love to always remind you that in terms of creating content, make sure that you create engaging content that either falls into the category of educating, creating value, or either entertaining them. All right. I really enjoyed the time with you. Yes, we will send you the ebook on your email within the next few days. Again, we will have the ebook along with the content calendar and the 120 content, 120 different contents for you, content ideas. I'm glad it's very informative. If you do have any questions in terms of your social media marketing, or you have any question in terms of your any question in ideas, if you have missed your the first workshop, right? If you missed the first workshop and you have any questions in content ideas, content marketing, and you have any problems in terms of creating a brand story, or you have any content strategy issues that you would like me to answer, please do feel like I do answer me the question, and I'll be more than happy to answer the question. Paris, yes, actually, Sapi and Sad brand stories do work. As long as you can touch emotional point, whether it's happy, it's sad, you can anger them, you can excite them, or you can actually give them a dream that they can dream about something. So it's all about happy, sad, exciting them, or either angering them, or even if you actually fall into the category of making them aspire to be something better, or like how the luxurious brand go into, where they dream to achieve something, dream to get something. You As long as you fall under five of this category, if you want to create a video or advertisement according to it, would be amazing, right? The WIEF Secretariat has actually sent you the link to be able to get the slides from. So do feel free to get the first day slides on the WIEF page. Do we have to always relate to our personal lives to be close to your audience? Okay, now you don't really have to actually talk about your personal life. What do you need to talk about is actually understanding your consumer's life. So how can you relate to them? Sometimes it's not all about sharing the lifestyle of your lifestyle, it's about your customer's lifestyle. If you're able to create a storyline according to how they can benefit you, if you educate them or create value for them, you already got an amazing audience itself. So if you don't want to showcase your own personal lives, that is not an issue. What you can do is just educate them, create value for them, show passion for your business, show passion towards your product, excite them, interest them, and you'll be able to have a great community with you. So as long as you fall under the one of the 6 category of the content where you can create trust, try to come up contents that create trust, empower, motivate them, give them tips, tricks. Always don't have to always relate things to directly to your product and service. It could be something completely different and opposite, but somehow they'll feel that you are creating value for them, and they will be more than happy to follow you consistently. So that's what you want to go after, creating value for them, educating them, or entertaining them. Okay, Paris, yes, thank you so much. Now we have to work overnight to create 10 ID stories a day at least. Yeah, okay, in terms of creating ID stories, don't overthink it. It's actually quite simple and fun. So what you can do, for example, if like for today, um, picture number one could be you, you in this particular Zoom meeting. Picture number two could be maybe the first page of the slide. Picture number three could be you in your office. The video number four could be a view of your employees all working, and then you're going out for lunch, maybe a session with your customer, maybe the new product launches that you're having. What kind of day are you having outside? Is it a dull or sunny day? Like right here, I'm actually having quite a rainy day outside here. So you can showcase all that, what kind of temperature are you having? You can share a quote, ask them a question, and share a quote and ask them what do they think about that quote. And then you can actually share pictures that you can get online. There's a lot of free websites that has a lot of images that you can actually use from, videos that you can use from. So you can post that, inspire them. So again, I'm going to give you a lot of 120 ideas in there. So have fun with it. Yes, even on your business social media. Again, in social media, it's not about business. It's all about being personal. So you want to actually show them that they're humans. They need to know that you're human as well. So if you actually be very business-like, it's very cold and it's very unentertaining as well. It's rather boring for them. So in social media, people go to social media to actually look to be entertained, right? We want to be entertained. Every time we open our Facebook or Instagram, we want to be entertained. And you want to actually entertain them. You want to educate them. You want to create value. So educate, create value, and show your lifestyle. Show a little bit of, not necessarily lifestyle, maybe your business lifestyle, your business aspect of it. But you want to show that you're human behind the business, because it's all about human and human interaction in terms of social media. So have fun with it, play with it. Send me your Instagram pages and your Facebook pages. I will follow it. And if you have anything in mind, if you have any questions, you can definitely, ask me as well in the future. I can send it out to WIEF, email them, and I will be able to get back to you on that as well. So send me all your Instagram and I'll be able to follow you as well, and get you more ideas. In terms of social stories, don't overthink it. It's actually very simple. Just anything that you can post it up. Right now, we have another question. You said earlier about telling stories behind our product. In that idea, my brand are travel agency, so I can relate to telling story about how the CEO starting the business. Is it okay? Because I think it's quite something personal, but it's okay then. Okay. Yes, the CEO story is one thing, but perhaps you want to create stories of why should they visit certain countries? Why should they come to your agency? Okay, I'll give you a bit of ideas here. What you want to do is, of course, you want to showcase your CEO story, but that's just one small aspect. It's, if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. The other part of it is you want to show the team. You want to show who's working, who they'll be working with, who are they talking to. You want to showcase that you are there to create amazing, memorable holidays, right? You want to showcase that. You want to show them where could they possibly travel. Sell the dream of where can they travel. What would they get? What kind of food will they taste? What kind of culture would they feel? Where can they go for holidays? Educate them with that amount of money. How much amount of money would it cost for them to go to a certain place? So that's the education part. Or how do they get in touch with you? Why should they come to you? That's the whole educating and value adding part. Results. Perhaps you can showcase testimonial of your customers, or perhaps you yourself can take videos of why should they visit that places. Why should they come to your agency to visit those places? Maybe because you have amazing customer service, you have amazing after sales team. You actually make sure that you curate their holiday to be in a way that they would come again, back and again and again. So you want to show all of those love and passion you have for your agency. So a travel agency is not just where they come, they buy, they go, right? It's all about you creating a holiday for them, showing passion. A holiday is, the cultural perspective, the people perspective, the traveling, the accommodation, the food. Those are all the places that you want to showcase. Where can they visit? So have fun with it, play with it, think out of the box a little bit. And it's not always about just the CEO, it's all about consumer. What would you think the consumer want to see? So you want the consumer to see about the holidays they can go, so give them the holiday, the dream of the holidays. So when you sell the dream, they're able to come to you, knowing that that's what they want. They will show you, it's easier to educate them and show them, and they come to you and they actually already know what they want. So that is one of the best ways to do it. So educate them, show them, create value. Again, content is, you always have to keep in mind, what would your consumer wants to see? It's not what content you want to create. It's not what content that what product or services you want to feature on that day. It's about what content do you think the consumer wants to see? What would they want to see? So create ideas according to what they want to see. Make sure you fall into one of the 6 categories that I've mentioned earlier, which is the trust, empower them. Okay, the trust, the empower, the trust, value, empower, hope, community, and results. So make sure you fall all this. Your content you're creating is going to fall under these 6 categories. Okay, I hope I answered your question. Next thing is Ivy, between Facebook and Google Ads, which would be a better lead generation platform? Okay, Facebook Ads and Google Ads. All right, Google Ads is usually getting them into your website. So it has different aspects to it. So Google Ads is all about them going into directly to your website. So it will appear on the first, say for example, people are Googling your particular business. What they're going to do is they're going to be able to find you on the first 3 or the last 3 of the advertisement on Google. So first page, first 3 or last 3, right? So that's the good part. You will definitely, if people are typing out the keywords that you have to be very careful with the keywords. So pick the perfect keywords that you think your consumer would use, right? Next is that with Google Ads is that it will directly lead them to Facebook. To Google, your website. For Facebook Ads, however, is that you're able to sell a dream. So you would definitely want to actually do, amazing. You would definitely want to create amazing videos, images, carousels, presentations that you can post. So for Facebook Ads, it's all about selling images. It's all about selling videos. So you can actually have fun with it, and you can actually make them dream of something or even showcase your products and services. So it's 2 different things. Google Ads is people who already know what they're going after. They're going to type out the keyword and they're going to come to you. So you're definitely going to get good hits. Facebook Ads is all about educating the particular demographic that you want. So you get to pick the demographic by the age, by the location, by the job, by their interest. So Facebook Ads and Google Ads has different kind of target audiences. So you want to play with both. I've been successful on both ends. Like I noticed that if people who are already know what they want, they usually use Google Ads. People who are uncertain, this is like giving them, people who don't know who you are, there's a lot of brand awareness that goes into Facebook Ads. There's a lot of educating that goes into Facebook Ads. So Facebook ads kind of have like, there's no limits to it. You can reach a lot of demographics. So I kind of like Facebook Ads where you have totally new consumers who never knew you existed or never knew they would want your product or services coming to you. So that's about Facebook Ads. Paris, yes, that is my Instagram. And you're talking about, for Ivy, yes, I hope I answered your question in terms of Facebook and Google Ads. So you would want to use a mix of both. For Paris, yes, that is my Instagram. And you said that you prefer using something that is nicely edited, but someone told me nowadays the public prefers something that's raw and unedited, even the unbalanced shots. Yes, okay. So this is what you want to do. You want to have a mix of both. For in terms of edited ones, it could be like about your products, about your services. All those can have a lot of thinking to it. A lot of edited, perfect pictures, perfect lighting, perfect backdrop, perfect background. All of those can go into your the 20% of the content that I told you about. The 80% of the content, yes, it could be something that's raw, that you just took it out of random, you took and you just want to post it up. The 80% of content could be completely like that. But you want to remember, you also want to add the education part in the 80% and the value adding part. In the stories, you can be raw, unedited. You can actually have fun with it. You can play with it. You can use any filters you want. Have fun with it. Okay. Social media is all about entertaining. It's all about educating, and it's all about value adding. So you don't have to be all perfect there. It's all about being as human as possible. So have fun with it and just play around with it. Thank you so much, guys. I've had a great time with you today. And again, the slides are on the WIEF website, and the ebook will be emailed to you along with the content calendar and the 120 ideas. So it was great having you as participants, and I hope to meet you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angeline, and everybody for being here today and making this webinar a successful one. Thank you so much, Angeline, for your time and all that's been showed up here and everything. Again, like Angeline has already mentioned, we will share her decks on our website. So at least everything is on the website. Just have to check it out. So please spare some time to complete the survey form we've prepared for you at the end of the session. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube for regular news and happenings. Now, on behalf of WIEF Foundation, thank you for joining us today and have a great day ahead.